Welcome to Ecoturismo Brasil. Here at Ecoturismo Brasil, we hope to help the public see the world through a new lens. Ecoturismo Brasil is our group's response to the grand challenge question, how long can Earth sustain humanity? We take on this question by addressing three sustainable development goals set by the UN. These three are climate action, life on land, and life underwater.
Ecoturismo Brasil will focus on the Amazon rainforest and be located in Brazil, since 60% of the Amazon rainforest is located within the borders of Brazil. Ecoturismo Brasil decided to focus on the Amazon rainforest because it is one of the most important ecosystems on the earth. It contains many important resources, including mahogany and rosewood. Also, the Amazon rainforest is a carbon sink and contains 10% of all biomass on Earth. If the Amazon rainforest was cut down, a lot of carbon dioxide would be released into the atmosphere. The Amazon rainforest also contains 20% of the world's freshwater within the Amazon River and contains 1/3 of the world's known plant, animal, and insect species. The Amazon rainforest is one of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth, with over 3 million species living in the rainforest. Biodiverse ecosystems are extremely important because they help to keep the ecosystem healthy through processes like purifying water, controlling outbreaks of disease, and building fertile soil. With the rate of deforestation increasing, the biodiversity of the Amazon rainforest is threatened, which can impact the quality of functions provided by the environment. Biodiversity loss from habitat destruction has increased the rate of extinction up to 1,000 times faster than what would occur naturally, and as a result, around 1 million species are facing extinction. In fact, in the last 50 years, humans have managed to destroy 17 to 20% of the Amazon rainforest, which has negatively impacted the biodiversity of the Amazon. It is also important to note that the Amazon rainforest produces around 20% of the Earth's oxygen, and is often referred to as the lungs of the Earth. The destruction of the Amazon rainforest would have detrimental effects on the planet, and therefore it is the mission of Ecoturismo Brasil to concentrate its efforts on saving this vital ecosystem.
However, as stated before, the Amazon rainforest and its rich biodiversity is at risk due to human interaction. Deforestation in the Amazon rainforest is at an all-time high due to increasing pressures from factory farming and mining industries. These industries pushing further into the rainforest also means that toxic groundwater runoff is making its way into the Amazon River basin. Increased climate change is also leading to more frequent region-wide forest fires, which have already begun reducing canopy heights and selecting for tall grasses at the forest's edge, leading to a more savanna-like biome. One way people have tried to make less impact on the Amazon and other endangered ecosystems is by engaging in ecotourism. Having begun in the 1970s, the goal of ecotourism is to educate people on the world around them and inspire them to be more environmentally conscious. The three main principles of ecotourism are threefold: to bring revenue to local cultures and sustainability practices, to provide educational natural experiences, and to involve local cultures in this process. Ecotourism is not a perfect system, however, often being run by foreign tourism companies which are looking for ways to profit instead of be more environmentally sound. That is why our group intends to come up with a virtual solution that will fulfill all three principles of ecotourism.
Ecoturismo Brasil looks to have numerous positive impacts, including minimal impacts on the environment, preventing over-tourism, and build cultural and environmental awareness. Currently, more than 5% of the world's global greenhouse gas emissions are caused by tourism, according to the World Counts. Our project looks to lower this number by removing the needs to travel to these places. Additionally, we are also preventing over-tourism, which has caused drastic damage to areas around the world. These damages include trampling of native vegetation, soil erosion, coral reef destruction from boat anchors, and noises that frighten local wildlife. Lastly, we are helping bring cultural awareness to our location and reducing the need for cultures to change to Western ways. Currently, many travel destinations are changing their cultures to fit what the travelers want to see and to make them feel more comfortable. These changes include building fast food places, adding new gift shops, and building large extravagant hotels that don't fit the area. With our tour, we look to preserve the natural culture and people around without the need to change to these Western ways. Lastly, with all of these numerous positive impacts, we may have a negative impact as well, which is job loss. As tourism accounts to 1 of every 11 jobs globally, if our ecotourism expands, it may start to hinder on these jobs. However, since we are not changing any tourist plans or restricting people from visiting this area, we are in fact creating more jobs specific to our tour. We only want to provide a more sustainable option for people as well as for anyone who may not be able to visit Brazil.
Ecoturismo Brasil will not only be an ecotourism organization, but also a local partner. Multiple studies have shown that local peoples have favorable views of ecotourism and its economic benefits when the following 3 requirements are met. 1. Reduction of waste. 2. Preservation and education about local culture and natural resources. And 3. Communication and participation between local communities and ecotourism officials. Those 3 guidelines have been taken into thought and have been implemented into the organization of Ecoturismo Brasil. For example, employment. Employment will be offered to local participants, whether that is through jobs as tour guides, participating in the board of directors, or other employment gaps needed by the program. For example, board of directors. Board of directors will allow for active participation by the community along with a transparent chain of command. The board of directors will have responsibilities such as employee management, tour curriculum, community outreach, and creative control. And just to show how we're really aiming for clear communication between the local communities and the ecotourism programs, half of the board of directors is going to be elected by local communities, and the other half is elected by Ecoturismo Brasil program. In order for a new motion to be passed, a simple majority will be needed for one exception. If one elected half has voted 90% against the motion will not be passed. And this is a safety measure to ensure compromise within the Ecoturismo Brasil program. The next really important thing is waste reduction and waste management. And this is going to be done by having our virtual tourists, which are robotic cameras with a 360-degree gyroscopic view that allows tourists from around the world to tune in via Zoom or whatever other program and see what is going on around them in the environment in Brazil. These virtual tourists prevents the large impacts and negative consequences of having large groups of actual tourists, like 20 to 30 people, trampling through the rainforest, but instead having 1 to 3 robots remotely functioned by the program and just following tour guides along a simple path. And finally, tour curriculum, as I mentioned before, will be set up by the board of directors, but will have a focus on the following subjects: local culture, natural resources, conservation efforts, and biodiversity. The curriculum specifics will be approved by the board of directors, and tours will typically have a focus on 2 or to 3 of the priorly listed subjects.
The following 2 slides will answer the question, is Ecoturismo Brasil viable or not? The pie chart to the left shows some of the opening costs. Not included in the pie chart are the virtual tourists, the cost of green energy to support them, and the employee cost and setup. Another financial cost that will be added in is the advertisement cost, which will be factored in with big tech companies based on our company's revenue. And finally, you need to consider the cost to the environment by this project being fulfilled. Now let's talk about revenue and overall viability. About 21% of foreign tourists that come to Brazil plan on doing an ecotourism experience while they're visiting. There are around 100 competing businesses of similar formats to our business in Brazil. Using the percentage and the competing business numbers, we can estimate around 20,000 visitors to our specific business per year. If our experience is priced at 500 BRL per experience, the revenue would far surpass the cost. This isn't even including the environmental benefits that would accrue due to our project.